Welcome to week 5, everyone. I hope you had fun getting through week 4, getting through your self-portrait projects. I hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl last night, and I want to thank those of you who took the survey for me. That kind of information really helps me out for sure. So diving into week 5, we're talking about art as a message here. So less writing this week, more creative, inspired elements that we're doing. So give you a little break after doing your theory application paper. However, I do have in here for you to begin work on your film review, and we'll talk about that in just a few moments. So you're reading in the visual culture text, chapter 11 on new media, and here's some things for you to think about. Instead of going through all of these right now in the announcement, just to keep it a little condensed and shorter, I'll let you read through all that on your own and let me know if you have any questions about anything you see in this text. And of course, these are the kind of things by now you should know will show up on the quiz, the information that I'm putting in this part of your learning activities. Okay, for your discussion board this week, we are going to watch 2 film clips, one by artist Ai Weiwei, and it's his TED Talk, and one about artist Hannah Hawk. And so these couldn't be more different artists. One is a contemporary artist living and working in China and all over. If you follow him on Instagram, he's very politically driven, and he's always posting a lot of images at once because he's often in places where he doesn't have internet access. And so when he does, he'll post lots of pictures at once. He's very much an advocate for freedom of speech, and especially when it comes to things like social media, because he was actually imprisoned in China for basically speaking his mind. So interesting guy to be looking at. And Hannah Hawk was an artist prominent in the early 20th century, and she did the same thing. She used new media to speak her mind. She was one of the first photo montage or photo collage artists, really a major influence on that style. And she spoke out about the Weimar Republic. So she was kind of working in between World War I, World War II, and had a lot of political commentary in her work. Was especially interested in how women were represented in the media. So that's not something new that we're now, really considering now in 2017. So I think she's an interesting one to look back on as someone who was doing what is going on now early on and has been a big influence, and I want you to consider her work, and we're actually going to be doing collages based on her work. So answer the following questions. Number 1, consider how new media is different methods of delivering the same information, and this is something your text talks about. Why do you think this is? Consider how people have different learning styles and how this might be a factor as well. What new media is the most effective to you? Number 2, view the YouTube clips. On this one, it's about Hannah Hawk specifically. What are your thoughts on her style? Is it a style that is still effective today? And students often, they take this extremely literal, this question, and they think, well, the things she was commenting about don't make sense to people today. So think about it in a more hypothetical term. If she was living and working today, what were the issues you think she would be engaging with and talking about? And, would her methods be effective? This is always some really interesting conversations come out of this. Number 3, what are your thoughts on Ai Weiwei's incarceration? Do you agree with what he said in his TED Talk? And of course, always in these discussion boards, you're graded on participation, so make sure that you are commenting on peers' work, asking questions. Something you might find out from them is, how is art sometimes a more powerful method than words to deliver a message? Again, answers should be about 2 to 4 sentences in length, and be sure that you're participating. Okay. Moving on to your your create assignment. We are going to make collages this week. So last week we made self-portraits, which I will be grading all of that. And I should have everything back to you this week by Friday. Give me a little more time this week, just because those papers are, they're a big paper. It's the biggest assignment you've done yet, and it takes me a little bit of time to get it graded. So be looking for all your work by Friday this week. So view the short clip on Hannah Hawk and her style, and it's the same clip, but I've included it here, and it's this same clip here. And you're going to use cutouts from newspaper or magazines, and you're going to create your own photo collage. So this is tangible, this is hands-on, this activity. Be sure to use the elements found in Hawk's work, including text. Your collage should fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and should take up the majority of the page. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be viewing the clip and you're going to do your own research on her style. I'm sorry, I just realized this doesn't have the video clip here. The video clip is here. This here, my computer's being a little slow, should be a Google search. There we go. That's what it is. It's a Google image search of her work. So I want you to spend some time with this. You can go back to all and do a little more reading about her and her work. What were elements that she tended to always include? You can see that for the most part, her collages have a lot of images. Some of them have fewer, and she was telling a very specific story in these. But most of the time, we're seeing a lot of images kind of pulled in here. We're seeing her take dissonant images and put them together into something brand new. She's basically making new compositions out of images that never would have gone together before. This image here, cut with a kitchen knife, is her most iconic work. So definitely spend some time here with this, doing a little research on what she was talking about. But you can tell there's a lot of chaos, but there's a lot to look at and a lot to talk about and discuss with her work, and that's one of the things that she was interested in. So like Hawk, each collage should be making a statement about a contemporary social, cultural, or political issue. I mean, it's low-hanging fruit, you guys. There's so much to talk about, so you should be able to easily find something you're interested and passionate about and that you can find a lot of images about at this moment in time. You are welcome to use digital images, but only do that if you feel like you're really confident and comfortable using digital tools, okay? So what I don't want to see is one image with a bunch of pictures just stacked next to each other. Collage, you're just putting images, slapping them on a page, you know, in a line. The point is that you're taking these, you're manipulating them, and you're creating something new. So you might choose a topic such as bullying, consumerism, world hunger, feminism, Trump, whatever it might be. Nothing is off limits here. Don't be afraid to go for it. And this is going to be done as a blog, and you will embed your collage images into your blog entry, and you can scan this or photograph it, or if you're doing it digitally, you can upload it that way. Again, digital projects, I want those to be done by people who are confident with those digital platforms. And you're going to include a one-page write-up in your blog entry exploring the topic your collage illustrates. Consider why this issue is relevant to contemporary culture and how your collage illustrates this. Also consider how an image is a powerful means of sending a message to a broad audience. So I've included an example of an A quality collage from a former student. So you can see that this student, they've taken the examples from Hawk. They've taken a lot of text and they've broken it up. They've included all of it. They've taken up the entire page of their collage. It's not just a few images in the middle. There's very little blank space in between. One thing this student didn't do a ton of that Hawk does is she takes images, a lot of faces, and she puts them together to make kind of a new person, kind of a caricature, if you will. So this will show you that you don't necessarily have to do that to get an A, but this student took really powerful images and put them together. They're all, if you look, in similar colors. So it almost feels like this united image, even though these are from all different places. So just, take this as an example of what I might be looking for. Give me something interesting. Okay, moving on, you're going to begin work on your film review this week, and you also have your quiz. So you've got your quiz due, you have your collage due, and you have a discussion board. Let's jump into the week 6 learning activities really quickly here, and because I want you to just be aware of the film review. What I would do this week is you don't have to necessarily start writing this week, but I would go in and I would choose the film that you're going to watch. So the three choices that I've given you are The Passion of the Christ, which is on Netflix. I believe it's still on there. A documentary called The True Cost, which is all about the fashion industry. Really good, really interesting documentary. And Netflix original The Little Prince. I figure most people have access to Netflix. If you don't, then these two should definitely be available for you to rent online, and you may be able to rent this as well somewhere. Don't think because it's a cartoon it's the easiest prompt. It's not. So what I would like you to do this week is come in here, read these prompts, decide what film you're going to watch. Watch the film and take notes according to what you're going to be looking for with this prompt. So don't just watch a film and then come in and read this. I want you to watch it with these ideas in mind specifically. Okay? So get that done this week, and then next week in our announcement, I'll go over each of these prompts in more detail. So that's what we got going on this week. Again, be looking for your week by Friday. Have a wonderful week, everyone.